I want to start this first level with a phrase. There is something even more sacred than a temple, and it's called our energy field. Only a small part of us is the body as we know physically, but a large part is our energy field, and it contains all the information provided by our experiences. Therefore, we must take care of it so that it's always intact. Misguided thoughts, emotions, and actions cause weakening in our energy system. Then the disease appears. The purpose of the therapeutic Reiki is to restore the vitality of the system, to harmonize and facilitate the healing process. We can transmit the Reiki energy generated from our cardiac system because this energy point integrates heaven and earth, yin and yang, canceling any duality. And we can apply it in many ways, including at distance. The most common application is with the hands. The lineage of the master Mikao Usui. I would like to point out that Reiki is closely related to philosophy samurai, which is based on a life of preparation for death. Are we prepared to die? Have we managed to forgive and be forgiven? Could we do good without looking at who and knew how to set our limits to the others? Did we have a peaceful life and knew how to be flexible? In 1551, the samurai warrior Toshitani Chiba conquered a city called Usui. Since then, the emperor introduced the family of this samurai with the surname Usui. Mikao Usui, descendant of this family, was born in 1865. In 1922, he developed the Reiki method for the purpose of spiritual growth. I must emphasize that the history of Reiki is very altered, and today nobody possesses the domain of the truth. So we must be careful with what we hear about Mikao Usui. It is said that he did not develop this technique for therapeutic purposes, especially because in 1926, 4 years later of having discovered the Reiki, he died of a heart attack. So it makes no sense that Usui Sensei has developed this technique as therapy, but as a technique of spiritual growth. It was actually his disciple Hayashi, a doctor, who promoted the therapeutic Reiki, but there are rumors that he never received the master's degree from Usui Sensei to teach Reiki, and that it was considered a betrayal for Usui disciples. The Reiki, as we know, was developed in the Western world. Why do many masters implant the symbols in the chakras of the students, if in ancient Japanese practices they have never practiced with chakras? The appearance of the symbols also happened later with the diffusion of the Reiki in the United States. This comes from Hawayo Takata, disciple of Hayashi. We have many things to demystify in the world of Reiki to have a solid base and achieve the original Japanese method. The Tao that can be talked about is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name, Tao Te King. The source of Reiki energy is the vacuum. When we cancel the duality of our attention and we connect in our heart the energy of the earth and the energy of the heaven, then we can emit a very powerful, capable energy to harmonize all beings, from their densest part to their most subtle part. By achieving this state of consciousness, we can transcend any limiting symbol to have the energy directly from the source. Reiki symbols. In Reiki, there are two types of symbols: egregor symbols and free symbols. Egregor symbols are implants that create connections in the energy field of the person so that it can be tuned to a specific frequency and thus be able to sustain and straighten the energy that moves in this egregor. In other words, the implanted person is used to meet the need of the egregor and cannot get rid of it because the symbol is implanted in them. On the other hand, free symbols resonate with the energy of the vacuum and have a healthy and pure symbolism. They do not condition the person, so there is not need to implant or adjust to any type of frequency. A large part of the Reiki Masters perform the initiation ritual where they implant egregor type symbols, and that often the same masters do not even know what they are implanting to their disciples. I'm not discrediting the use of Reiki symbols. On the contrary, I think that we can use them as free symbols. However, I do not agree with the implantation and attunement of any symbol in the aura of the initiated, because we are already complete beings. Our higher consciousness is already connected to the primary source, so all we need is to have access to our own energy. We must break the beliefs and limiting programs that we are eternal spiritual beggars of something external to us. Breaking paradigms and taboos. We are complete beings and nobody can tune us into something that we already are. We cannot allow implants or attunings to our energy system, which is the most sacred that exists, and without a clean and integral energy system, we cannot connect with the source. The telluric energy or energy of the earth anchors the cosmic energy or energy of the sky. By joining these two, they cancel all duality and become the energy of the vacuum, which is the same source energy. The place where these two energies are found is in the heart. Therefore, we can be able to heal. We need to develop our heart system. Whenever we are going to apply Reiki, we will do it through the permission of the higher consciousness of the person who will receive energy. The application will be made using a language with the energy, hence the importance of using the symbols, but as mentioned above, this must be of type free. In this case, I will explain the typical Chokurei symbol, which worked as a free symbol, is very good, and I will also explain the symbol of the flower of life, which is the most complete because it represents the DNA of the perfect human being. Chokurei. It improves the manifestation of the cosmic energy, receives the energy of the earth, and fluidizes our third and fourth dimension plane. It helps regulate the flow of transmitted energy. Counterclockwise, the energy decreases, and clockwise increases energy. It can be used as a symbol of protection since it purifies and balances the energy field. After activating our cardiac system, we can visualize the symbol in the energy field of the Reiki receiver, invoking his power to intuitively harmonize where the person needs it. The flower of life. This symbol transcends any limiting programming of the matrix where we currently live our experiences, overcome the barriers of time and space, as well as the paradigms and prejudices so abundant in our social systems that limit us. Composed of 19 circles and 36 overlapping arcs that forms a hexagon. There are records of this symbol from the origin of humanity. In the temple of Osiris, we find this symbol in a granite wall. This is the archaeology nightmare because nobody has been able to find out how this symbol was engraved on granite. Iranian scientist Nassim Haramein said this symbol was engraved with a laser beam because inside the granite, the impression of the symbol continues. It's not a superficial design. This invalidates the theory that the Egyptians were primitive and archaic at that time. Why this symbol was engraved in the Osiris temple using high technology? What was the intention of the author of this print? What message did they want to convey? This symbol appears in various cultures, in the Golden Temple in India and also in China, in the Great Palace of Beijing. The symbol represents the ideal of cosmic DNA, the DNA of the perfect man who transcended all space-time limitations and the duality of this holographic matrix. The man capable of living in harmony with the universe. After activating our cardiac system, we can visualize this symbol in the receiver's energy field, invoking its power to harmonize intuitively where the person needs it. Seiheki improves purification and mental balance. It helps to dilute the crystallizations and hardness of the heart, as well as in the release of addictions and harmful habits. Honshaze Shonen increase the emission of energy by overcoming barriers such as time and space, so it helps end painful karmic cycles. or do karmic rescues in other dimensions, harmonizing even our fractals. Sacred geometry. Symbols are very advanced and sophisticated language that is used by the most transcendent consciousness in the highest spheres of cosmic evolution. It is an even more advanced language than the telepathy itself. Telepathy is present in the third and fourth dimension planes and will be considered as still very archaic language compared to geometric language. The third or fourth dimensions are based on duality. They remain very dense, where the soul is highly conditioned. The superior dimensions that transcend the third and fourth planes, where duality is overcome and consciousness expresses itself in its most full, use sacred geometry as language. This is a living and powerful language that is able to manifest its power when invoked and activated from the heart. The Phi number, better known as the golden ratio, is the perfect measure that governs the entire universe. And through this measure, we can restore the balance of the planet and all beings. Prieto was the first to mention this proportion and synthesized this theory in the five perfect solids, which are the structures that make up the universe. In sacred geometry, we work with these geometric shapes for the harmonization depending on the need of the receiver. Square, composed of 6 faces: earth element, root chakra, yin energy. Icosahedron, composed of 20 faces, water element, which represent the emotions, the mother, navel chakra, yin energy. Tetrahedron, composed of 4 faces, it represents the triangle of the body, liver, spleen, pancreas, and thymus. Element of fire, solar plexus chakra, yang energy. Octahedron, composed of 8 faces, air element, heart chakra, neutral energy, not yin nor yang. Dodecahedron, composed of 12 faces, metal element, throat chakra, harmonize the spaces, represents the father, yang energy. Tetrahedral star, composed of 8 faces, ether element, third eye chakra. Break the negative electromagnetic fields. It's a great harmonizer of any process. Neutral energy, not yin nor yang. After activating our cardiac system, we will intuitively feel the need of our receiver, and so we invoke the power of the indicated geometry. To perform this meditation, we must sit or lie down comfortable. we breathe the pure and vital energy of the air. When breathing, we will fill our stomach with the revitalizing energy of the air. We relax our feet, our legs, our abdomen, our chest, our arms, our neck, our jaw, our face, our head, we relax the whole body. Now, we are going to visualize that from our feet there is appearing roots which extend to the heart of the earth. We remove all impurities from our body, and through our roots we deposit them on the earth. The earth absorbs the impurities and transmutes them. Now, we will place our attention in the heart of the earth. We will visualize the vital energy of our Mother Earth being absorbed by our roots. The energy goes up our feet, goes up and up, until it reaches our heart. where it turns into a sparkle of golden light. Now, let's visualize our soul star, which is located 15 centimeters above our head. Is the star of our connection with our star seed. From the star of the soul, a golden ray descends. And goes down and energizes our head until it reaches the heart. Where it melts with the sparkle of the earth and becomes only one. This golden sparkle gets growing and growing more and more. Growing and growing. More and more. Until it covers our entire body. Focusing in the center of the heart, feeling the union between the energy of the universe and the energy of the earth. The yang energy with the yin energy. Cancelling all duality, getting into the vacuum energy, getting the all possibilities, the whole potentiality. Now we feel the healing potentiality. This healing energy that comes from the vacuum and that we can use for the healing purpose. Let's take a time to feel this energy. thank the universe and the Mother Earth for this wonderful experience. Dai Ko Myo improves the harmonization of the entire energy system of the person and the connection with our higher self. There are two ways to draw it. Ra-ku. It's used to connect with the energy of the earth and anchor the energy. Extraction of implants and limiting programs. Throughout our existence, we have had our freedom diminished through various mechanisms, such as beliefs or fears, which at the same time are negative energies condensed and that can be implanted in our energy systems for whatever we want to call Satan, reptilians, obsessors, etc. For these beings, it's interesting that we are not free, that we are always conditioned and manipulated to their individual objectives, serving as a source of energy and sustenance. Condensed negative energies can become spiritual limitation devices of known or unknown format, spiritual larvae, parasites in the emotional and mental body, attached entities, thought forms of all types, including curses, black magic works, and also traumas of past memories. The first step is to cancel any kind of feeling of insecurity or fear, and we must create an atmosphere where we are convinced that we deserve to be free, that we are part of God and creators of the universe and our reality. Implants are distorting structures of the body's energy field of the human being that the negative races use to weaken and manipulate us easily. So, when there is an implant, the whole structure of the person is distorted mentally, emotionally, and physically. Most of them are placed before conception, so it's very difficult to recognize them later. The implants modify and erase the DNA information, reprogramming the electromagnetic fields, blocking certain information brought by the soul, keeping these holographic metrics as real. The first program that the implants carry is so that we cannot detect them, and thus hinder their removal. Implants hinder the opening of consciousness, reaffirm the artificial circuit of the wheel of karma, so that we believe it's the only evolutionary reality, condition behaviors, alter health, modify ideas, to adopt limiting belief patterns. There are several types of implants, and for each type, there is a different form of removal. We have the bioplasmic type implants, and also the metallic ones, which can become entire networks of chips inside the body. There are the larval implants and the bionics that run throughout the spine and blocks the chakras and the kundalini energy. According to the Spanish researcher Sola Himsa, all these implants are activated and work due to implant control structure that the human brings in their auric field This structure is the control center, and the first thing we must do to remove implants is to remove this implant structure. As we can see, the implant structure has one type of spheres in the energy field, one in the upper right and the other in the lower left. Then, there is a kind of fabric in our aura connected to these spheres. The spheres are the center of implant control. If we remove the implants but do not remove the implant structure, it does not help much. There are also two vertical and parallel lines of secondary control. These act as scanners and go down and up, and we must also remove them. People who are abducted or channelers are the ones with the strongest implant structure. It's precisely because of this structure that we cannot detect implants. Solahimsa also mentioned that the races that are manipulating us with these implants have some bases in the earth that are the hub of operations. There are four intra-earth zones under the sea of the planet for the control of all these implant structures. An area is in the Black Sea in Ukraine. The other is in the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. The other is in the Sea of Japan between the coast and the islands. And the other one in the Ross Sea in Antarctica. The implants come from other dimensional planes and have been placed in our subtle bodies so that when incarnating and throughout our life, they connect with our etheric double so that they materialize in the body and can fulfill its function of memory control and reprogramming. To remove the implant structure and implants, we need a special procedure where we can enter into connection with our energy field and can perform the respective removals. To help us with the removal of metal implants, there is a crystal called antimonite, also known as stibline. This crystal detects implants, blocks its programming, and helps to remove it. But it doesn't work very well with bioplasmic implants. For bioplasmic implants, the ideal is to help us with a double terminator transparent quartz wand. As many of these implants are programmed for the person to experience painful karmic experiences, by removing them, the person will not have to go through these experiences: poverty, illness, deceit, accidents, etc.